I had a feeling who the culprit was. I can confidently say that Holly has saved this book for an emotional roller coaster. My only criticism with this book is that the mystery in this book is similar to one of the Bollywood film that is very popular. Trust me, you will love it, and this is the perfect closure you can get to a series. One more thing, I also know that there's a Netflix series for book one. I have tried to watch it twice. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Next Chapter with RK. Today I am going to talk about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, and I totally get it why people are so obsessed with the series. But I've also got few opinions and observations that a lot of people are not talking about. But before I start with the review, I would like to share the story that how I got introduced to the trilogy. I remember I was looking for my next thriller read, and that is when my sister suggested me this series. She was like it's all over the internet and this series has also come on Netflix, then I think you should give it a read. And when I read the synopsis, I was like, I don't know, I think it feels like more of a school or a college going student book. But when I got into the first book, I'm sorry, I'm not able to get out of the series. Okay, let's start with the review, talking about the first book, which is Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The book follows Pip Fitz-Amobi, a high school student who has chosen Andy Bell case for her school project. 5 years earlier, Andy Bell was believed to be murdered by her boyfriend Sal Singh, who then took his own life. As far as the town is concerned, the case is closed. But Pip is not convinced. As she starts digging in, secrets starts coming up and nobody wants them to be brought back in light. Cast is really huge, and they are connected to Andy, Sal and Pip herself, and each chapter starts feeling more personal. There are layers upon layers, there are secrets within secrets, and each clue is actually pushing investigation forward. As I mentioned before, cast is extremely huge. There are a lot of characters, but I think Holly Jackson has done a great job. She has done justice to the book, wherein she has explained every character's traits so uniquely that you will end up remembering them all. My only criticism with this book is that I felt like there was one particular suspect who was given a lot more attention, but that person did not have a lot of role to play at the end. But it was only when I read book one, when I read the subsequent books, I realized that why this character is so important to the series, and you would also realize in the later parts. Overall, it's a 3.5 star for me. It is the book that would definitely make you say just one more chapter. Now let's move on to the second book, which is Good Girl, Bad Blood. Before I get into the review, there is one suggestion from my end that please read these books in continuation. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of characters, and there's a chance that if you will take a month's break or 1 or 2 months break, you will forget some of the characters. There are a lot of characters, trust me, so you will forget something, of course. That is my only suggestion. So starting off with the review of the second book, it starts off where the things were left in part one. Pip has sworn off the investigations and she wants to get back to her normal life until her friend's older brother is missing and his family request her to find him, and then she takes up the case and gets back into the mystery, and that is when things starts getting interesting. What surprised me the most is that how hooked I was to the book. There were no unnecessary fillers. Book is fast paced, chapters are short, and I never had a feeling of skim through it. I had a feeling who the culprit was because of one loose thread in the book, but I was never able to figure out what the intention of the culprit is. And guys, trust me, I am betting that you will not figure out what the intention of this person is. Every time I thought this might be the reason, I was proved wrong. And I think that is what Holly Jackson does the best. She will give you enough content to build the theories, but you will never be able to confident about it. Yeah, exactly, that's what's gonna happen. Part 2 has a lot of references from book 1, which I at times felt unnecessary. Again, this constitute 5 to 10% of the total book, but then I felt I really do not need or do not feel the need to go back into the book 1 and then just revisit, just relive everything when it's not required. One more thing is that you will definitely get attached to Pip's characters. and her friends and family as well. It is so, I mean, I don't know, I don't have the word to explain it, that how Pip's character has grown from book one to book two. In book one, she was more, optimistic, she was naive, she was chirpy. But by the end of book two, she is more intense, more serious, and more detective driven. And I was not very I was really confused and about how her character changed. I mean, I felt that there were a lot of places where Pip felt that only she knows it and only she can do it and she does not need anyone else's help, which was not very motivating. I think even if she knows everything, it's okay to go out and ask for help. And I felt very frustrated when Pip was doing everything by herself and she was not involving anyone else, only because she thinks that she can do it the best. And again, by the end of the book, only because of her habit of doing everything by herself, she is so traumatized as to what happens at the end, and that trauma continues to book 3 as well. So overall, book 2 is again a 3.5 star for me. I loved it and you would really enjoy it. You will feel so connected to her character, to book 1 as well. A must read for me. Now moving on to the third book, which is As Good as Dead. I can confidently say that Holly has saved this book for an emotional roller coaster. Unlike the first book, this does not start with a mystery with someone being killed or kidnapped. This starts with very deep and intense emotions that Pip is experiencing after what has happened in her life with the previous 2 cases that she has handled. She is questioning everything, that if justice system or judicial system is there to give justice, or is it just to hear the trials and give the result in the favor of the group that is being able to present their case more beautifully. The line between the right and wrong has increasingly blurred for her, and she is actually thinking that if doing right actually give you right outcome, or if justice comes at a cost. She is so frustrated. She really wants to come out of this cyclone, and that is when the town's serial killer is actually planning murder of Pip. And by this point, you will not be able to breathe. The story gets really tight. You can feel the tension, you can feel the chills, and the twists have started coming in. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this book is extremely emotional. So you would see that how everyone around Pip is trying to save her, but Pip and not Pip again. As her character is, she's not taking help from her friends and family because she wants to protect them, and how emotions are all bubbled up here. So this book actually is not about the mystery, but it is about Pip and her transition. It is so heartbreaking to see that how Pip's innocence has been disappeared, and she is so mature. She is acting a lot more than that of her age, wherein she is trying to protect everyone but herself. So it was lovely to see everything that was happening. And one more thing, I felt like the mystery in this book is similar to one of the Bollywood film that is very popular. I will not name it, you can guess it, or you can probably comment down below if you have read the book already. So overall, this book is 3.5 star for me. And guys, please mind that even if I say it's emotional, it is not like it is boring. You will love it, trust me, you will love it, and this is the perfect closure you can get to a series. One more thing, I also know that there's a Netflix series for book 1, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I have tried to watch it twice. My suggestion is the series has not done justice to the book. So if you're not into the book and you want to just know the story, and I mean, you can go ahead and watch, but if you are into books, guys, please don't watch the series, because it has just shown the gist of the book. There are a lot of parts that have not been shown, and I don't think so you will be able to connect to the characters, which is one of the most important thing in this trilogy, that how beautifully you will get connected to the characters. So I would say that the series is about 5 to 6 hours, and I think that is how much time will take for you to complete one book. So I will suggest that you read the book. There's a lot more than what has been shown in the series. And yeah, this was my review. If you liked it, please like, share and subscribe. Do let me know in the comment section which book would you like me to recommend next, and see you next time.